Did you ever watch a man known for laughter and confidence dissolve into tears in the span of a single, shattering moment? That's exactly what happened when Ibrahim Traoré's final warning echoed through Steve Harvey's studio, brought him to his knees, and left millions of viewers stunned. It all started as a routine segment on purpose and perseverance, but by the time Ibrahim's words rang out, the world had changed. Allow me to guide you through every heartbeat, every breath, every glistening tear of that unforgettable night. You'll witness how a leader's unwavering truth can crack the armor of even the most seasoned entertainer, and reveal why Steve Harvey, celebrated for commanding every stage, was rendered speechless. Imagine this. The lights in the studio glow warmly, the audience buzzing with anticipation. Steve enters, his trademark wide grin lighting up the room. He jokes with the band, teases the cameraman, and launches headfirst into a passionate monologue about finding one's calling. It's Friday night, and tens of millions tune in expecting the usual mix of laughter and life lessons. But beneath the polished facade, a current of tension thrums just out of sight. A production assistant's hurried footsteps whisper secrets before a single word is spoken. No one in the audience knows yet, but an upheaval is about to unfold, a moment that will redefine both men's lives. Steve finishes a heartfelt story about his own struggles, growing up in a broken home, sleeping in cars, waking up hungry, believing that purpose would be his salvation. The applause thunders. He basks in it for a beat, then looks directly into the camera and says, "That's why no matter where you're from, no matter what you've been through, your purpose is out there waiting. Don't stop until you find it." The crowd cheers. Again. Then, without warning, a production assistant hurries on stage whispering into Steve's ear. You can almost see the confusion flicker in his eyes, eyebrows arching, lips parting. He glances off camera, face paling. "Folks," he murmurs, voice unsteady, "there's a message. From somewhere you'd never expect." He said it's from Burkina Faso. The studio hushes instantly. Not a cough, not a shuffle. We lean in, sensing that everything familiar is about to shift. The vast screen behind Steve flickers to life. A bold seal materializes, gold and crimson against a dark blue field, the coat of arms of Burkina Faso. Underneath, in bold white letters, a message from President Ibrahim Traoré. The audience erupts into astonished murmurs as Steve rises, palms flat on the desk, eyes wide. Why would the president of Burkina Faso send me a message? His voice wobbles, a tremor betraying the calm he tries to maintain. I don't even know what this is about. He steps back, legs locked, and sits gingerly. Fingers drum the chair's armrests. His gaze locks on the screen, searching for answers. Then the video begins. The background is simple. Soft gold drapes, a wooden desk with a single Burkina Faso flag flanking it. A man steps into frame, tall and composed, wearing a crisp green military jacket adorned with minimal insignia. His eyes burn with a fierce calm. This is Ibrahim Traoré. The camera zooms slightly as he clears his throat, and in fluent English, with a gentle African lilt, he speaks. "Mr. Steve Harvey, I address you not only as a leader of my nation, but as a brother in purpose." Instantly, the room leans forward. Steve's jaw drops, lips quiver. The band fades into silence. Ibrahim's gaze drifts past the camera for a fraction of a second, as if recalling every hardship he's faced. Then he exhales. "You don't know me, but we know you. In neighborhoods across Burkina Faso, your voice carries further than you can imagine. Your words of resilience, faith, and second chances permeate even our remotest villages." Steve blinks, eyes widening. His breathing becomes shallow. The audience's collective breath catches. Ibrahim continues. "During our darkest nights, when insurgencies threatened our peace, your story was our beacon. You reminded us that leadership is born of compassion, not titles, born of heart, not hierarchy." The syllables hang in the air, laced with a weight that no pre-recorded message ever should carry. Steve's hands tighten on the armrests. He swallows hard. The camera captures the first sheen of moisture in his eyes. He looks away, attempting to collect himself. But when Ibrahim's voice thickens, he's caught again. As a young soldier, I fought for freedom without knowing if hope would follow. Yet at night, I found solace in your videos, your laughter, your tears, your unyielding message of purpose. The tension spikes. Ibrahim's words drip like molten steel. Now, as president, my burden is to guide my people toward peace. But I would be remiss if I did not say this. If truth falls silent, our future dims. If your influence can light our villages, then I ask you, stand with us. At this moment, Steve's composure fractures. His mouth opens, but no sound emerges. His eyes glisten. You can see the seconds stretch as he fights to breathe. Ibrahim's gaze never wavers, and the audience feels every heartbeat. Then Ibrahim leans forward, expression fierce yet gentle. This is not a plea for charity, this is a call to courage. I have one warning to share. One warning that must reach every ear. If you remain silent in the face of injustice, you become complicit. And if our leaders falter because our voices were muted, then the price we pay is the blood of our people. His voice softens. Mr. Harvey, I whisper this to you for the millions who cannot speak. Ignite your beacon. Do not let silence prevail. A hush deeper than night descends. Steve's lips tremble. A single tear escapes, tracing a path down his cheek. He clears his throat. The video dissolves, leaving only the Burkina Faso seal. The audience is frozen. Not a whisper, not a rustle. Only the hum of studio lights. Then, softly, Steve says, I thank you. His voice cracks. I never thought, Mr. President, thank you. He bows his head, unable to look the camera in the eye. His shoulders shake as he tries to reclaim control, but the audience rises to their feet, applauding an impossible moment, a moment of raw vulnerability that no one expected. Before the applause can crescendo, the lights dim for a camera break. The band treads cautiously, playing a somber note. In that brief blackout, the studio exhales collectively. Viewers at home grip their phones, social media ablaze. Steve Harvey broke down. Burkina Faso president to Steve. Final warning. But Steve refuses the cut. He raises a hand. Don't go anywhere, he murmurs, voice husky. I want every second to be heard. The screen flickers once more. This time, Ibrahim Traoré appears live. No pre-recorded cues, no teleprompter. The camera angle shifts, capturing the blue sky behind him, the silhouette of the presidential palace in Ouagadougou. Steve's jaw drops again, tears now glistening unchecked. He sits forward, elbows on knees, clasping his hands. Ibrahim offers a small, earnest smile and speaks. Mr. Harvey, we've spoken in prelude, but now I ask you to listen from my heart. A palpable stillness grips the room. Ibrahim's words come slow, measured. You've seen wars through screens, I have walked through them. You speak of purpose, I have lived with purpose. He pauses, closes his eyes briefly. The camera remains fixed on him, unwavering. My final warning is this. When power is wielded without conscience, hope withers. Our people starve, our children hide from violence, because too many of us believed silence was safer. His voice tightens. I once was that boy, no shoes, no food, but with a dream. Your voice reached me in a dusty radio cafe. You didn't know my name, but your tears told me I mattered. And I carried that spark until I became leader. Ibrahim's gaze intensifies. Now I ask you, do not let your spark die. Use it to expose truth. Use it to protect the voiceless. Use it to stand beside the humble, not to shine a spotlight on yourself. Steve blinks away tears, shoulders trembling. He opens his mouth, but Ibrahim raises a hand, signaling him to stay silent. A tear falls so slowly it seems suspended mid-air. Ibrahim's tone softens. I have one more thing. The tension ratchets tight. On the 7th day from now, our people will gather, Mothers, children, elders waiting to hear your message in the village square of Tiebele. Steve's breath hitches. The camera cuts back to his face, capturing his every muscle quiver. Your final warning will become our rallying cry, our promise of solidarity. Will you stand with us? Ibrahim's microphone clicks off and the video feed stutters before cutting. Silence reigns. The studio remains motionless. Then Steve bows his head until his chin rests on his chest. A guttural sob escapes. His shoulders shake. Tears pour freely. The audience stands in stunned unity. Some clutch tissues, some press hands to mouths, others wipe awestruck eyes. Even the production crew seems to pause, as though the world itself has stopped. No one dares breathe too loudly. Finally, Steve raises his head. I will stand. His voice cracks like thunder. I will stand with you. The applause swells gradually, becoming a roar of solidarity not just for Steve, but for every person tuning in, every soul who's ever felt powerless. Steve leans back, covering his face with both hands, breathing deep. The band resumes a soft, mournful melody. As the lights flicker, Steve refuses any commercial break. Instead, he whispers, "Hold on," and sits in silence, tears streaming down his face. Cameras capture every drop. Viewers at home hold their breath, unwilling to reach for their remotes. For once, this is not about ratings. This is about truth. The moment passes, tension released like air from a bursting balloon. Steve wipes his cheeks and exhales. "We're going to Tiebele," he says, voice trembling with resolve. "I'll meet them. I'll hear them. And I'll speak my truth." The crew exchanges stunned glances. Steve stands, composure returning, but eyes still wet. "Don't cut the feed," he tells a stagehand. "I want the world to see this." Meanwhile, halfway around the globe, preparations hum in low gear. In Tiebele, women stitch banners by candlelight. Children practice a song Ibrahim's grandmother once sang, an ancient melody passed down through generations. The sun dips below a horizon of acacia trees, and the village square empties only for a moment before filling again. A hush settles, pregnant with expectation. Every family brings a woven mat, every elder brings memories, and every child brings hope. Tonight they wait. Back in the studio, Steve gathers his belongings. No luggage, no large entourage, just a single carry-on and his battered leather journal, pages filled with scribbled prayers and dreams. He retreats to a private room, his team hovering. Reporters lurk outside, eyes wide, cameras poised. He ignores them, head down, shoulders slumped with the weight of the moment. A producer slips in a printed English translation of Ibrahim's full live speech. Steve scans it slowly. "When I faced death in the desert, your laughter gave me life. When my heart shattered, your tears reminded me that feeling is strength." He closes his eyes, tears slipping anew. He thinks of his own mother, her smile, her strength, her belief in him. He traces the lines of the speech with trembling fingers. "They need to hear this," he whispers. "They deserve to know we are not alone." By dawn, Steve boards a private charter. No press, no fanfare, only a handful of close aides. He sits by the window watching clouds drift below. His mind retraces every image. Ibrahim's steady gaze, the villagers' expectant faces, that ancient song echoing through clay walls. He reaches for his journal, flips to a blank page and writes, "I go because they called me brother. I go because they believed my voice could heal. I go to deliver the truth." He underlines the words twice, tucks the journal away, and closes his eyes. Sleep eludes him. 6 hours later, the plane descends toward a dusty airstrip ringed by baobab trees. Steve's breath catches as he sees a sea of faces below, villagers waving cloths, children jumping, elders standing on rooftops. A simple banner flutters. "Welcome, Brother Steve." He stands, gripping the armrest as the wheels touch down. The engines roar, then fade. He rises, hesitates for a heartbeat, and steps onto the red dust. The sun is fierce, the air thick. He shields his eyes, and there, stepping forward, is Ibrahim Traoré himself. No suit, just a plain white shirt and military-style trousers. He extends his hand. Steve takes it, and they share a brotherly embrace, neither speaking. A chorus of soft cries rises from the crowd. Steve inhales deeply, the scent of earth and onions and sweat filling his nostrils. Ibrahim leads him through a sea of villagers, women with babies strapped to their backs, men clutching worn prayer beads, children clinging to their mothers' skirts. They pass small wooden stalls piled high with millet, clay pots basking in the sun, and goats tethered by frayed ropes. The crowd parts respectfully. Steve's eyes well as he sees the faces, hunger, hope, love, etched into each one. He bends to bless a crumpled poster a child holds aloft. Steve Harvey, son of Africa. His hand catches the edges of the homemade sign. He wipes his thumb across dusty paper, the ink smudging. The child beams. Ibrahim guides Steve to the edge of the square, where under a hand-stitched canvas awning children wait with a wooden chest at their feet. Their heads are bowed in reverence. Ibrahim places a gentle hand on Steve's shoulder. "They sing for you now," he whispers. The first note pierces the air, an unaccompanied voice, trembling at first, then joined by others. The children's song, a lullaby Ibrahim's grandmother hummed while grinding millet, rises in pure, haunting harmony. The words are in Moray, but Steve's eyes fill with tears before he knows what they mean. He closes his eyes and lets the melody wash over him. The cadence of a mother's love, the rhythm of a people's resilience, the echo of a shared humanity. As the last note fades, the crowd holds its breath. Steve looks up, voice thick. I don't have words." The translator steps forward. "They say our hearts are open because yours is. We sing because your voice carried across oceans to save us." Steve lowers his head, tears flowing freely. A woman pushes forward with a small notebook. Aka. She's 10, slender, shy, eyes bright with unshed tears. In her hand, a letter, pages twisting in the breeze. Steve kneels to her level. She hands him the letter with trembling fingers. He opens it, reading silently. "Dear Mr. Harvey, when my father fell in battle and my mother cried at night, I found your videos on a crackling radio. You told me to hold on. I did. Now I am here. Thank you for reminding me I mattered. Please remember us forever. Your little sister, Aka." Steve's breath catches. He looks up at the sky, holding the letter against his chest. Tears pour, unrestrained. The crowd weeps in chorus. Ibrahim steps forward, placing his hand on Steve's back. "Your final warning lives in their hearts now," he says softly. "Because you came. Because you listened." Steve nods, voice choked. "They gave me more than I could ever give them." He reaches into his pocket and pulls out an envelope with a gold seal. The crowd leans forward as he breaks it open, revealing a certificate. "This land now belongs to you," Ibrahim announces. "Plant a tree of peace. Let it stand when we are gone." Steve's eyes widen as Ibrahim hands him a small packet of sunflower seeds, Traoré's symbol of hope. Tears stream down Steve's face as he kneels to plant the first seed under a young baobab. The children gather around, each placing a handful of soil over the seed, their hands gentle, reverent. The camera sweeps across faces, each one stricken with joy, tears, gratitude. Steve looks up at Ibrahim, voice wavering. "You've shown me more than I ever imagined." Ibrahim smiles, eyes glistening. "You showed them purpose." A hush settles as the first sunflower seed nestles into the earth, a single promise of tomorrow. That evening, under a canopy of glittering stars, Steve sits with Ibrahim at a simple wooden table. A single lantern casts a warm glow. They share a meal of rice and stew, passing bowls carefully. Ibrahim breaks the silence first. "I once feared speaking truth would cost me everything." Steve nods, voice low. "I feared using my voice would make me vulnerable." Ibrahim reaches across, touching Steve's knee. Vulnerability is the price of authenticity. Steve's eyes fill. You taught me that. Ibrahim pauses, then says, there is one more thing. The hush deepens. In your journey, don't forget why you started. Remember the boy who slept in cars. Because that boy's voice saved me. Steve inhales slowly. He reaches into his journal, pulls out a worn page reading, God let my words matter. He hands it to Ibrahim. Ibrahim traces his finger along the scrawled letters. This is where it began for you. Carry it forward. The next morning, the sky blushes pink over Tiebele. Steve stands before the village, microphone in hand. For this time, the moment demands it. The villagers gather, hundreds strong, their faces bright with anticipation. Steve steadies himself, gazes at the crowd, and speaks. When I started out, my voice was fragile. I had nothing but dreams. Today, I see how that dream became your hope. His voice catches. He holds up Aka's letter. I carry this with me always. He glances at Ibrahim, who nods encouragingly. Ibrahim's final warning was not a threat. It was a call for solidarity, a call for courage, a call for truth. The audience murmurs their agreement. Steve's gaze sweeps across children and elders alike. If you have a voice, use it. If you have a purpose, embrace it. Because when voices unite, silence cannot stand. Tears well in his eyes as the crowd erupts into applause. Some cry openly, others raise fists in solidarity. It's a moment of shared humanity so profound that cameras tremble. Steve steps off the stage, weaving through the crowd as villagers reach out, touching his arms, pressing gifts into his hands, woven bracelets, beaded necklaces, small dolls carved from she-wood. Each gift a testament. You mattered here. Steve accepts them, tears unrestrained, whispering thank you in half a dozen languages before breaking through to Ibrahim's side. They watch the sunset together, a blazing orb dipping behind distant Earth, knowing they've witnessed something that will echo for years. A week later, Steve returns to the United States. He sweeps in quietly, no banners, no media circus, just his private car gliding through the airport. His heart is heavy with memories, yet buoyed by purpose. The next evening, he walks onto his talk show stage holding a small bundle, a sheaf of sunflower seeds wrapped in burlap. He places them on his desk, pausing to look into the camera. Friends, he begins, voice gentle yet firm. I went to Burkina Faso not as a celebrity, but as a brother. I went because I heard a final warning, a warning that silence is complicity. I went because a president once walked barefoot to school carrying a dream I helped ignite. He lifts Aka's letter from its frame. This child believed my voice could save her. I realized in that moment that every word we speak, every tear we shed, every truth we share can be a seed of hope. He shakes the sunflower seeds. So, today I invite you, plant your seeds of purpose. Raise your voice for justice. Stand with those who cannot speak. Because when voices unite, darkness yields. He places the seeds gently back on the desk. For a moment, he closes his eyes, tears pooling. Then he smiles, a small, grateful smile. Thank you for letting me share this journey. Thank you for remembering that no matter where you're from, your voice matters. He leans forward, cupping his hands. If this story touched you, share it. Let every sunflower seed be a reminder that from small places great things grow. The audience rises in a standing ovation. Cameras roll, capturing every tear, every nod, every quiet smile. And as the credits begin to roll, the final image lingers. A single sunflower seed nestled in Steve's palm, waiting for its moment to blossom. In that simple moment, we're reminded that a final warning is not an end, but an ignition. Ibrahim Traoré's truth cracked a comedian's armor and set ablaze a movement of purpose across 2 continents. Together, they proved that when you speak from the heart, your words become more than sound. They become shelter, they become sustenance, they become seeds of tomorrow. And perhaps when you watch a single tear fall down a familiar face, you realize it's not just grief. It's gratitude for a world bound by shared hope.